Yo, Novatos, thanks again for tuning in to yet another video. Infamous coming at you live from the West Coast yet again, San Jose, California. So we are looking at saddlebags for your Harley Davidson. If you guys have been watching the channel, you guys know I've gone through a number of different saddlebags. I've had from what you guys can see in the front right here, anywhere from $90 all the way up to $700, $800 saddlebags. So that being said, I've had my Leather Pros for now 4 years. You guys have probably been seeing the videos, the installs of different saddlebags, and people have been wondering, hey, why are you getting rid of the Leather Pros? Why are you, so there's always like a curiosity amongst riders. Why are you, getting rid of, or why are you switching out the saddlebags? And of course, you guys know I have multiple bikes. All right. So I've been playing with saddlebags on my Sportster, but I've had the Leather Pros on the Lowrider S. I absolutely love the Leather Pros. I'm a huge fan of what they make. The quality, they're made in America. I've had them for 4 years now, and they've held up fantastic. So are the Leather Pros still kings? Are the Leather Pros still king after trying out all these other options? If you guys also know, I've had different saddlebags on my Metric Cruiser. I've also had Viking saddlebags on my CV Evo. And now, of course, you guys seen recently, I went ahead and installed some Viking saddlebags, some Viking bags on my Sportster. So I wanted to rank these. I wanted to rank these recent saddlebags in 2024. Some of these I've had for a while, like the Leather Pros. These ones, the guys you guys are watching currently right now on the screen, I've had these for 2 years. All right, so quality and the price varies dramatically depending on what you're looking at. All right, you also have to factor in the weight, you have to factor in the cargo space, so there's a lot of different things to account for when it comes to choosing your saddlebag. All right, so I rank these by a few categories. I have it on paper. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make like a graph or a sheet or anything like that. I'm not too good at that, but I made a little sheet here where I ranked them, and surprisingly, after my little ranking system, most of them tied except for the Leather Pros. They kind of came out in front by 1 point, but of course, once I factor in the price, the Leather Pros kind of ended up being last. So you guys can, of course, take these little ranking system that I made, or take this, and you could factor in your own requirements out of your build or whatever you're looking to get out of it. Are you more towards the budget side? Are you more towards the ease of installation? Are you more towards security? There's so many things here that I've of course made this categories. So I did, one of the categories for the ranking system is install, ease of install, of course. My second one would be quality or durability. My third category for ranking is cargo space, because they're saddlebags. You want to have carrying capacity. My fourth is security, because you want to be able to have that ease of mind. Whatever you put in your saddlebags, they're going to stay put. People are not going to break into them, steal your stuff, take your stuff like that. So security, I would say, is one of the major factors when picking a saddlebag. My fifth one was weight. I would say that really depends on the rider. I like to have light bags. Of course, you guys know, depending on what bike you're putting it on, Harleys are not known for performance. They're known for torque, but not performance. So depending on which one you choose, this could affect the way your bike handles. Not in a sense of being in stability, but more as acceleration, of course. I'd say the major would be acceleration, or the way it feels when you're when you're giving it full throttle, or you're twisting the throttle. And then of course that final category that I kind of factored in after I saw that most of these tied up, except for the Leather Pros, was the price. The price has to be, of course, that depends on your budget. So I also added a sixth category to the list. So let's go ahead and start off with the universal hard saddlebags. You could mount these on pretty much any motorcycle, you would have to drill your own holes, which is why I wanted to make sure I added the ease of install. So for the universal hard saddlebags, you guys can take a look at them. They look pretty good. All right, I didn't put style because that really depends on the person's. A style category really depends on what you think looks good. I think the Leather Pros look good. A majority of folks don't believe that it looks good. My brother absolutely hates them. He likes these style of saddlebags. They're hard case, stuff like that. He's not a fan of the fabric. He's not a fan of the ballistic nylon, of course. He was telling me I should have gotten the Leather Pros, but there's just maintenance. Maybe I should have added another category, you know, in maintenance. Maybe that's something you guys would probably want to consider. So this one, of course, ease of install, ease of install for this one, I ranked it at a 1 because, of course, you have to drill your holes. You have to make sure it's even. You have to make sure they're level. There's a lot of things that you have to consider when you're installing these universal hard saddlebags. Yes, you can put them on any bike, which is fantastic. But when it comes to making your own holes, I mean, it's going to vary, all right? There's a lot of things to consider. They could be lopsided. They could be, you know, depending on how you want them to look on the bike. They might be slouching, or they might be, you know, just a little sloppy. And it's not going to look good, all right? I've seen somebody, I'm not sure if there's images on here, but somebody mounted these upside down so you don't have to... or I think they mounted them upside down so they didn't have to relocate their turn signals. I'm not sure if the images are on here, but these are a little difficult to install. You guys can see the spacing's a little dramatic between the saddlebag and the fender. I use my own mounting system, so you guys would have to, of course, check out my install video so you guys can see how how did I improve the overall look and style of these saddlebags. But you can see the spacing's a little bit off between the fender and the saddlebag. I'm not a huge fan of that. You know, overall the install is a 1 on this one. All right, definitely a 1. As far as the quality on these, I will rank these as a 2. There's a lot of flex, of course. You guys can see it's ABS ABS injected molding. It's I'd say probably 1/4 inch thick, maybe a little bit less than that, but there is a lot of flex in the middle of the bag. They do rattle quite a bit from the lid onto the actual saddlebag, mainly because that little foam liner that's inside of the lid does kind of fall out after a couple weeks. So you guys can see the inside. Out of all of these saddlebags, this one was the one that kind of broke on me. It cracked. And that was only because I added Loctite on the inside. I didn't clean it up. I didn't know that Loctite actually eats away ABS. So after I installed these, I'd say about 2 weeks after, I found a crack right here in this area. It started cracking because that's where the Loctite dripped. Of course, I used some, what is it called? Some Easy Fuse? No. It's the stuff that you use on your rooftop. I'm not sure what is it called, a liner or some sort. I used the liner, I fixed it, and then of course I went back now and I added JB Weld as well. JB Weld, I was able to fix it. So far, 2 years in, that's pretty much the only issue, but that was completely my fault for using Loctite on the inside of these, which is all raw ABS. So be cautious when you're using Loctite around plastics. I wasn't aware. So as I said, the quality, it's a 2. All right, it's a 2. It's, you know, the locks themselves, they're not completely secured, stuff like that. You guys will be able to see on the top here, the lids. You guys can see that the latching mechanism, the actual latch that keeps these locked and closed is actually just plastic. So that's where we're going to. My second category would be security. This is a 2 in the security for these bags. All right. Yes, it's got a key. Yes, it does latch, stuff like that. But as far as security, you could 100% grip it and just pull it open. All right. We're talking a little bit of, you guys can see it right there in the image. It's just, yes, there is a little small piece of metal that latches on there, but the foundation, or what keeps that metal piece intact is just plastic. It's just ABS. So it's not quite secure. It is a key entry, but you know, that's why I give it a 2. All right, it's not the best, but it's good enough, I guess. I still wouldn't be, you know, ease of mind of leaving stuff in here. I wouldn't leave stuff in these bags. And of course, if they were to break these, you're pretty much done. You would have to change the actual saddlebag or do something else to keep these latched down. I have some thoughts in my head on how to, you know, remedy that issue if these were to get broken into. But once they break that plastic on the inside, which could be, you know, it's not completely secure, these will break easy. So security, it's a 2. Cargo space on these, I'd say it's a 3. I believe it's over 20 liters. I'm not entirely sure, but I would say, based off of my Viking bags, which are at 27 liters, I would say these are probably about 28 liters combined cargo space. I'd say 28, maybe 29 liters if my Vipers, oh no, sorry, my Viper bags are 26 liters in capacity. I would say these are probably about 28 liters. All right, just based off of the Viper bags. You could also look at the dimensions right there, 16 by 13 by 7 inches. All right, so I would say there's somewhere around 28, 29 liters capacity, which is pretty good. It's a decent amount compared to all the other options. As far as going on to, of course, another category is weight. I would say weight is like I mentioned earlier, something that you want to consider. All right, so we went over the install, the durability, the quality, the cargo space, the security. Now we're going into weight. These weigh in at 10.5 pounds with my mounting hardware. I think with their hardware, where is it? Is there images? There is no images. Oh, there it is. So with their hardware, I would say it's a little bit closer to 11 pounds because this is significantly larger than my system that I have these installed. I would say these are probably about 11.5 pounds combined. They weigh in about 6 pounds a piece with the hardware, so they're about 11 pounds, a little bit over 10 pounds for sure. So that would be, of course, a 4 as far as the weight and the way I'm ranking these are 1 to 5. All right, 1 to 5. So let's move on to the next one on price. It would be the club style, universal club style saddlebags. Of course, this is another one that I've used on my Sportster. So far, I've really quite liked them. Style wise, I like them. They're a ballistic nylon saddlebag, soft saddlebag, lightweight style. I think they look fantastic. This is one of my favorite ones. You also have a 30-liter option here as well. You guys could decide which one are you leaning towards. All right, do you want the ability of installing these with your turn signals? You guys can see the image at the bottom. You don't have to relocate your turn signals, which makes it a lot easier. Or do you want a little bit more capacity? And you could probably get away with keeping your turn signals by moving these up closer to the front of the bike, but these ones you probably might want to relocate your turn signals. So you have two different options here. So let's stick to the ones that I've purchased, the 14.5 liters. I'm guessing this is a combined because these are quite small. All right, you can't fit a lot of stuff in these. So let's go into so these are 120 with the 10% discount. You could get them for about, I believe, 114 with tax, free shipping. So as far as the install, this is a 5. All right, they have, you guys can see in the image right there, these do go over these do attach Velcro, and they do saddle onto your rear fender. I'm not a fan of the way it looks, but if you guys seen my video, my install, you guys can avoid this look and just install them with an L bracket. So installation, I would give these a 5. These are probably the easiest ones to install. Keep in mind, these are the 14.5. If you do the 30 liter ones, you would have to relocate your turn signals, and then that's going to add to your install. So installing these, 5, easy, super quick. You can put them on top of your rear fender, and this fella right here, he went ahead and he put it in front of his turn signal. You guys can see the way he actually put them on backwards. I don't think they look good, but hey, if that's what you want to do, you could do it. You could actually just fold, because these are ballistic nylon, you could fold the back of these and put up right up against the turn signals. So, you know, that's another little way to do it if that's the way you want to do it. I really don't like the way they look, but hey, you could install these however you want. All right, so install 5. The quality, the durability on these, I would give it a 4, mainly because they're ballistic nylon. They're not hard case like the other ones, but you're getting these because of that. All right, they're soft, easy install. They're lightweight. You know, I would still give these a pretty good score on the quality or on the durability, because the inside of these saddlebags, they're actually high vis. You guys can see them right in here, which is really neat. They're high vis on the inside. You have, of course, an additional storage compartment on the lid. The shell, of course, or the outer shell of these saddlebags, there is like a vinyl shell, so they do keep their shape. It's not like a cardboard shell or the thickness of a cardboard. I'd say it's more like a vinyl, maybe about 2 paper sheets. I'm not sure how thick that is, but they're not really quite thick. Maybe about 1 mil or 2 mil vinyl. I would say the reason why these keep their shape is because of the lid, mainly because of the lid. So that's a 4 on the quality. Cargo space, it's a 1 on these ones, complete. I mean, you can't really fit much in them. All right, they're 14.5 liters. You could fit a couple things, but nothing too dramatic. My Yeti fits in there. My cap fits in there. My sweater with a couple shirts, they fit in there. But that's pretty much it. You can't really put anything else in them. Cargo space is a 1. Security is a 1 as well. All right, they don't have a security system. They zip in. I guess you could probably get like a little luggage lock on these. You guys can see. But as far as security, there isn't much at all on these ones, so that's why it's a 1. You just have a zipper, and like I mentioned, security lock, luggage lock. Maybe that would help out a little bit, but they're not that secure as far as security and ease of mind leaving them out. Weight wise, these are ranked at 5. They're the max as far as the weight on these. These weigh in at, with my mounting hardware, the L brackets, these weigh in at 1.4 pounds. So without my mounting hardware, they probably weigh about under a pound. So max combined, you're looking at 2 pounds with these. If this is the way you're installing them with the little, what is this called? The Velcro strip over the fender. These are going to weigh in at 2 pounds, which is significant. All right, you're not going to feel them. And they look fantastic on the bike. You guys can check out the images on my social media. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. That brings the total score to 16, just like the universal hard saddlebags, the universal hard case saddlebags. These are also a total of 16. We're going to talk about the price at the end, all right? Even though I'm ranking these up from lowest to the highest. So moving on up to, of course, the ones that I've recently installed. I've had these for 2 weeks now. I really dig the style of these. I really like them. They're pretty much universal. You have to drill your own holes. Same thing. They're lockable. They look just like the ST. They look just like the ST bags, but they're like half the size. That's one of the cons for these. I think Viking, I believe they missed an opportunity by making these as large as the ST bags and having, you know, the potential of having both saddlebags the same size, the left and the right. You guys seen the ST bags, they're lopsided. You have the right one that's slightly shorter than the left one, which is something that a lot of people don't like. But of course, you know, it is what it is. All right, the Harley, I don't know why Harley did it, considering that most owners swap out the stock exhaust. That's the reason why they did it on the Lowrider ST, because of the stacked 2-into-2 exhaust on the Harleys, on the STs. So they have to make a little bit of room for that right saddlebag. That's the reason why it's shorter. So moving on to the ranking system on the Viper bags, these are currently on sale for $350. That's pretty good. You know, the regular price on these, I've seen these as much as, you guys can see, $700. They're rarely $700. They're typically $465. Sometimes you might see them down to $350 with the coupon, which is pretty good. All right, so getting on to the ranking system, the ease of installing these is it's also a 1, just like the universal hard case saddlebags. It's a 1. These are difficult to install. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take you a couple hours, maybe about an hour, if you know how to do this. If you've installed them quite a few times, kind of like myself, I've installed plenty of saddlebags. If this is your first time doing this, it's going to take you a minute. It's going to probably take you about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. If you're by yourself, maybe 3 hours, maybe 4 hours. If you've never done it, it's going to be tough. You guys have to watch my video, my install video. I do a step-by-step install. The quality of these, I would give it a 5. All right, these are max quality, mainly because they're fiberglass. They're heavy duty. They have a latching system that has a double latching system, a double point of latching, which is fantastic. So, and it's also metal. There is no plastic. I mean, the lever is plastic. You guys can see the little lever back there. That is plastic. The lever, this one, that is plastic. But as far as the latching system and the locking mechanism, it's all metal. Thick metal, I might add. So, you know, the quality on these, it's a 5 overall. The finish, on the other hand, it's got swirls, it's got orange peel, it's got a couple scuffs. You know, it's far from perfect as far as the finish. The finish on the universal is, you know, significantly, I mean, it looks better, but of course these are actually painted. They actually have primer, base, and clear. The universal is only a clear and ABS, so you're supposed to paint the other ones. You're not supposed to leave them raw, but I've done it. I left mine raw black, and you know, I haven't had any issues with them. You're supposed to paint them though. These are actually painted. It's got a metallic vivid black style of paint, but you know, they need some TLC for sure to get them to look absolutely perfect. So the quality, it's a 5, a max. Cargo capacity on these, I give it a 3. It's not, you know, they're closer to the universal. Like I said, these are 26 liters. You can't really fit much in them. All right. I think these are more style-wise, more in the style category than carrying capacity. But I mean, they're small. All right, I'm gonna be honest. They're small. I would even rank this, as far as cargo, probably a 2. You know, a little bit under the universal hard case, because these are slightly larger. So I would say these are probably more closer to the 2 as far as carrying capacity. They're not that big. They're also hard case, so they don't really flex with anything. The opening on these, on the lids, because they are clam style bags, it's a max of 5 inches. So you guys can see the dimensions here. Of course, these are 7 inches wide, but the opening is like 5.5 inches, and then of course they taper down towards the back of the saddlebag. So it's 7 by 21 by 9, but at the back of the saddlebag they taper down, they taper in quite a bit. So it's 7 inches, and this is probably more like closer to 5 inches at the back. So not a lot of carrying capacity, but you know, like I mentioned, the quality, the durability of these, it's fantastic. That's why I give them a 5. You could also see the interior. It's got a protected nylon interior as well, so they're well built. All right, they're well constructed. Cargo 2. Security on these, I would give them, like I said, a 5. This is a max security. They don't have a quick detach straight from Viking saddlebags. If you want a quick detach system, you'll have to dish out an extra $130. All right, an extra $130. They'll send you a quick detach system, but straight out of the box, it's a bolt-on system, so you can't really detach them as quickly as you probably would want to. But you know, based off of that, and of course the way the latching mechanism works, the lock, it's a 5. Nobody's getting into these saddlebags. I mean, it's like I said, the latching system is all metal constructed, and the saddlebags themselves are complete fiberglass. So there is, you know, you would have to get power tools to break into these. So these are pretty, you know, they're pretty sturdy, and they're well built, and security wise I would give it a 5. Weight on these, I would say it's a 2. So weight on these, they're ranked at a 2. They're heavy. All right, let me tell you, with their latching system, with their hardware, their mounting hardware that they have here, these weigh in at close to 11 pounds. So at 11 pounds, you know, each, so combined together, you're looking at a combination of, you know, 21 pounds, 22 pounds. So these are pretty heavy compared to the other options. They're twice as heavy as the Universal, because they're just so well built. You know, it's fiberglass, it's not ABS. They're well constructed. So they're twice the weight as the ABS. I mean, that's the reason why the security on these is a 5. And the security on the Universal on these ones is a 2. You know, there's a reason. It's because of that. They're just better built. And you know, that being said, trying to speed through this thing, we are moving on to the next one, which is the Lilith Pros. Right? Is that the next one? Yeah. So the Lilith Pros, I've had these for 4 years now. I had the V3s. I have made a video on the easy mounts, so let's just go ahead and go over that real quick. The easy mounts, you don't have to change your exhaust. So if you're running a stock or you're running slip-ons, you don't have to swap your exhaust on with these ones, with the easy mounts, because they're slightly shorter. You can also see the cutout right here at the back of the saddlebag. They have a turn signal cutout, so you don't have to relocate your turn signals. You can keep your stock turn signals where they are. So there's another one. So this is why they're easy mounts. You don't have to do much of swapping turn signals or your exhaust. These will mount completely easy. You know, this is a complete easy bolt-on, depending on the model, of course. If you have a Lowrider ST, you guys know that your turn signals are actually located on your tail light, on your brake light. For most of the soft tails, you will have your turn signals on your struts. For most of them, except for the Lowrider ST. All right, so my kid woke up from his nap. Getting on to the Lilith Pros, the V3s. These are the ones that I've had for 4 years on my Lowrider S. I've been a huge fan of these. If you guys have been watching my channel, my videos, I've always spoke highly of these. So these are the V3s. Let's go ahead and just select these right here. You guys can actually buy these for soft tails, for dynos, and I believe towing models. I've seen a few towing models with these saddlebags. So let's look at the install process on these. These will be a 4. I mean, this really depends on you. I'm going to say that the easy mounts, they're going to be a 5. I would say the install on these, they're probably more of a 3, because you do have to relocate your turn signals. If you do have a Lowrider S, a Fat Bob, Street Bob, you know, a Fat Bob, a Fat Boy, or, you know, if you have one of those, right, you will have to relocate your turn signals, which will make it a little bit difficult, but it's 100% doable. I have the install video on my channel. So the ease of install, I would say a 3, okay, because you do have to relocate your turn signals, depending on the bike that you have. Moving on down to the quality, I would give these a 5. They're max quality. Yes, they're ballistic nylon, but, you know, as far as the quality of these are made in the States. They're built to last. They're made in the States. You know, they have a heat shield on the bottom. Is there any images? They have a heat shield on the bottom by the exhaust. You guys can see it right there. So it protects the saddlebag from the exhaust. It works perfectly. The latching system on these are also fantastic. I mean, like I mentioned, they're built to last. They don't rattle. They don't move. You bolt these on, it's a solid lock feel. There is no, movement. They have a little bit of a leather top here to kind of help it as far as, weatherproof. They're not weatherproof, but they're weather resistant. I've always mentioned in my videos, if you don't want your stuff to get wet with these, put them in a bag and then put the bag inside the saddlebags. That would help you, keep your stuff dry. That would help keep your goods or your items dry. If you put them if you're expecting rain, put them in a plastic bag and put them in the saddlebag. So they do have a leather opening on the top, lashing system to kind of help with the weather effects. But you guys can see the bottom of it. It's a solid metal piece. It's a heat shield, protects the bags. So that's the reason why I rank these as far as quality on a 5, because of the latching system, the V3 latching system that they have, solid. There is no vibration, no rattles, nothing. These stay put. So, and they're actually really easy to detach from your bike. It's really easy, simple, quick. They do have a locking mechanism on the detached system. So as far as, people taking your bags, it's pretty good. We'll get into that right now. But the quality, these are built to last, ballistic nylon, good fabric, good quality components on this. There's no shortcuts when it comes to the Leather Pros. There's a reason why, $775 is well worth it for these. These are the most expensive ones, but these are well worth the money on how they're built and they're made. So I'm 100% happy with it. They have some images on the back, of course. You can't really see it, but as far as, because of the way they're built, they stay tight to the fender. They stay tight. The spacing between the fender and the saddlebags they're like maybe about an inch. So these are super, super tight, and they really look good on the bikes, in my opinion. But of course, you could ask other people. They would tell you this looks horrendous on a bike. But that really depends on you. That's why I didn't really put that in the category of its own when it comes to style, because that really depends on you. Cargo capacity on these are a 5. All right, these do expand. You guys can see there's a zipper system that you can actually expand these further out. These are 40 liters, massive saddlebags. They're also soft saddlebags, so you're not constricted to the shape of the bag. You could they fold, they expand. You could put, pretty much anything in these, and they will fit. These are 40 liters. Oh, this is per bag? Is that correct? Wow, that's 40 liters per bag. So you have a combination of 80 liters once they're fully, they're fully extended. That is massive. 80 liters. That's a huge amount of carrying capacity. And they're massive. But like I said, you could always collapse them. You could collapse the bag, and they look good. All right, I don't know. People have said otherwise. I really like the way they look. So you could collapse them, or you keep them fully extended, 40 liters per bag. That's massive cargo space. That's why that's max to 5. Security wise on these, I would say as far as locking them up, there is no locking mechanism. So I would rank these at a 1. As far as security, they are a quick detach, so that's what the benefit is. If you get in a hotel room, or if you're if you're camping or whatever, and you have to put the bike somewhere, you can actually detach the saddlebags off of your bike within a minute. With one hand, I'm able to take these off with one hand while I'm filming. I could take them off, detach under a minute, quick detach. But as far as security, keeping the lids or whatever, if let's say you're going to a grocery store, which is what I do typically, I'll take these to a grocery store. There is no lock. You could, like I said with the other ones, you could get a luggage lock. The zipper on these, there are metal, unlike the club style, the ballistic nylon Unlike these are all plastic. You guys can see the zipper system right here. It's all plastic. Of course, you can see them right here, all plastic. On these ones, they're actually metal, the zippers. So you have a metal zipper here, and then you have another metal zipper right here. So you could use a luggage lock, but security, unfortunately, it's a 1 because you can't, prevent people from getting into your bags. Weight on these ones, I rank them in at a 1 again. Compared to, of course, all the other ones, these weigh in at 20 pounds each when they're not filled with stuff. You guys can see the carrying capacity on these is 35 pounds. All right, I've carried about 1,000 rounds of 9mm in these. Easy. They can handle that much weight. 1,000 rounds, 500 rounds. Yeah, 1,000 rounds. So of 9mm. So you could really load these up. You guys can see weight capacity 35 pounds. That's huge. But the bags themselves, they do weigh in at 20 pounds a piece. So combined, you're looking at adding 40 pounds of weight onto your bike. 40 pounds is a significant amount. All right, and if you're a heavier rider, you're already weighing in at 240 or 250. You're now pushing closer to 300 pounds on your bike, and that's going to affect the way that the bike handles. Stability-wise, like I mentioned earlier, not a huge issue when it comes to the stability and stuff like that. But of course, the acceleration, the way it handles, as far as acceleration and performance, 40 pounds is quite a bit. All right, so that brings our total before, of course, the price. You guys can, decide. So we're looking at pretty much they all tied up at 16. The Leather Pros came in at a 17 overall score. Like I said, overall score with those 4 or 5 categories. Yeah, 5. With those 5 categories, they all came in pretty much tied. All right, the Leather Pros did slightly came out on top a little bit. In front of all the other options. So overall score was a 16 for most. The Leather Pros got a 17 on the overall score. It really comes down to what do you want out of your bike? Do you want capacity or do you want performance? That's pretty much it. Or do you want, depending on where you live, a lot of people have told me that the ballistic nylons is a no for them because of where they live. They live in Texas. The sun is very, very hot. The sun will beat up on these, so they typically decide on bags like the Viper and the Universal. I've seen Blockhead mention stuff about the thickness of the ABS. It might get brittle, so maybe you do want to go with fiberglass bags. It really depends on where you live. I've seen Leather Pros that have pretty much dyed out white. People have mentioned you could always dye them black again. I'm not entirely sure how they will look, but these will turn purple eventually. If you ride long enough and you store your bike outside, and if you commute to work and you don't have shade or anything like that, these will turn purple fairly quickly. And then maybe after the 2 years, they might just be completely white. I've seen some of these that are completely white on some bikes around my area. So, that's if you don't, of course, take care of them, kind of like I do. I carry an extra blanket where I'm able to cover my seat and my saddlebags while, of course, the bike sits outside for 8 hours. Some people carry bike covers. I don't like doing all of that. I just put my blanket over my seat and my saddlebags, and that's pretty much it. That's what I protect when I'm out and about on my lowrider S. So, like I said, it comes down to, are you more of a style guy? Do you not mind the ballistic nylon like these? They're a little tiny, but they still look good on most of the bikes. You don't have to worry about painting them. Paint match, you guys have to factor all this stuff in. Paint matching on these are going to be 0 because, you can't paint these. So as far as install, that's pretty much it. You don't have to worry about paint matching or anything like that. This one and, of course, the Leather Pros, you can't paint match these. All right, so makes it a little bit easier. As far as the Universal, yes, you could leave them like that, leave them without painting them and stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, if you have like a red bike with black saddlebags, it's not going to look good. You have to paint them. You know, that really depends on you. But for myself, I want my color match with my bike. So you would have to, of course, look at getting a painter to paint these, prep them, and paint match them to your bike. Same thing with the Viper. If you don't have a black bike, you guys can see how this kind of looks on. It just doesn't look uniform. You really have to paint match them, get that burgundy and that white colorway on the saddlebags. Like I said, you guys have to, you know, look at all of these things and factor in, you know, which one's best for you. If you want the absolute best cargo capacity, you want to be able to lug around max amounts of stuff, it's going to be the Leather Pros. If you're concerned about the weight, if you want to keep your bike more on the performance side but still have a little bit of cargo capacity, stuff like that, then of course the universal, you know, the universal club style bags are probably the ones that you're considering. You guys can see how it looks on a Lowrider S, on a 2022, 2023, 2024 Lowrider S right here. They look pretty good. You know, you don't have to relocate the turn signals. You know, install is another one. Install. You want to do a quick install, kind of like what these fellas did. This is a Street Bob. This is a Lowrider S. You guys can see quick install, easy install, light. You know, the weight, everything, carrying capacity minimal, but look, there's enough room there to fit in a 6-pack. You know, it really depends on what you want to get out of it. If you want to be able to, you know, take it out for a trip of 2 days or 3 days or whatnot, maybe you have a sissy bar. You know, it really depends on you. So, like I mentioned, these pretty much tied. All right, it really depends on you. Once you factor in the price, however, if that's a huge, you know, a huge factor for you, if that's a huge point is budget, then of course the ranking on these completely flip. All right, so the Leather Pros, I ranked it in a 1 because they're $775. They're almost $800, so I ranked that in a 1. The Viper bags, these are $300, but I ranked them in at a 3. I mean, typically these are $460, but like I said, you can get them right now with the coupon for $350. So this is ranked in at a 3. And then as far as, of course, the universal hard case and the universal club style, both of these rank in at a 5. So once you factor in the price overall, then these two pretty much win. All right, if that's a huge thing for you, the budget, the universal, you know, both of these are $100 saddlebags. All right, the Leather Pros can't compete. They're $700-800. They're 8 times the price. As far as, you know, the Viper bags, those come in at those come in at 3rd place. You know, considering that these first two tied, you know, they tied for the, so they're at 21 overall, considering the price. And then you have the Viper bags. They come in at 19. They come in at 19 with the price, and then of course the Leather Pros, they come in last at 18. If you're looking at price. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in to a long video. You guys stay out there, stay safe, life's a risk. Get out there and ride. Later.